Thank you, Chris Mannix and Chris Canty. We're going viral. So last night, LeBron turned back the clock with that epic dunk right there, which led to this epic photo from Andrew Bernstein.
Wow.
LeBron posted it on the gram with the caption, "Win, lose, or draw. I love being able to play the game I fell in love with as a little kid growing up back in the projects of Akron, Ohio. So much damn happiness and fun it brings. Live, laugh, love is the motto." And that reminded many people of when LeBron did the same dunk back in 2000. And
now this part's wild because it's the same exact dunk 15 years ago. Now his head gets up a little bit higher in the one 15 years ago if you look at it in relation to the rim, but not much.
It's awesome.
That's shocking. He might be the greatest athlete in the history of sports.
There you go.
Just because...
That's your first good take.
No, I mean, that he's doing that at 19 or whatever it was and 35 is remarkable. His durability is remarkable. Everything about him physically is remarkable.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm not going to go as far as say he's the best athlete in the history of sports. I think that's a little bit of stretch. But LeBron James is certainly doing it with more longevity than any athlete that we've seen in the past.
Who's the comp though? Like who's the
there is no athletic comp.
Like I mean, who is like
there is well, you got a lot of guys that are two-sport athletes. I mean, Deion Sanders is certainly in the conversation.
Bo Jackson
was in the
Sure.
conversation.
Jim Brown, the greatest lacrosse and football player ever. Absolutely.
But
none of them are LeBron.
I did 400 burpees last night.
Oh, Christ.
But for real, not a joke. When I was 20, I also did 400 burpees.
And unlike LeBron's, that being 15 years apart, Jenna's talking 30 years ago.
Okay.
She was able to do that.
Just let me marinate in glory for 5 seconds.
It's like the 4th age joke you've made today.
Yeah. Thank you for counting, because I lost count. Sticking with LeBron here.
It gets harder in your older age.
Oh, my God.
5.
Yesterday's trade deadline came and went without the Lakers making a much-anticipated move. According to reports, they refused to give Kyle Kuzma and Danny Green to the Knicks in exchange for Marcus Morris. Instead, Morris is heading to the Clippers, and the Lakers move as is. Nick, do LeBron and AD and company have enough to make a title run?
Oh, I think they absolutely have enough. I think that they are, though, missing a piece. I think that piece is going to come in the form of Darren Collison, which is this offseason, if you remember, once they missed out on Kawhi, the top 2 free agents I wanted them to go after were Danny Green and Darren Collison, with Seth Curry, not Steph Curry, Seth Curry mixed in there as well. Collison then retired, and so they made up where they could. The Avery Bradley moves, some other smaller moves, Boogie Cousins, who obviously has done, got hurt and done nothing for him. As presently constituted, they have enough. But it is so much on LeBron's shoulders. Now, I think he can handle it because he's handled it throughout his career, and I think he will up his game in the postseason because he's done that throughout his career as well. But Darren Collison, to me, is a much better addition for them than Marcus Morris would have been. Marcus Morris helps the Clippers. It's a good move. I'm not going to act like, the Lakers lucked out by not getting him. But I wouldn't have traded Kuzma and Danny Green for Marcus Morris ever. I think Danny Green is more valuable in the postseason than Marcus Morris will be. Kuzma I have questions about. But if they don't get Darren Collison, will they still be my pick to make the NBA Finals out of the West? Yes. But LeBron's going to play 42 minutes a night, and they're going to have to solve their Rajon Rondo problem somewhere else.
Yeah, the margin for error for the Lakers is paper thin right now. I mean, you have got to be, LeBron's got to be great, Davis has got to be great.
And healthy.
And healthy. Everything's got to kind of click for them to get past those teams in the Western Conference, and then you get to the finals, and then you get Milwaukee. That's a separate conversation. I'm with you. I would not have made the deal if it meant Kyle Kuzma and Danny Green. I don't think that makes you better short or long term. Marcus Morris, a free agent at the end of the year. Danny Green signed to a 2-year deal. Kyle Kuzma signed to a 2-year deal. Collison interests me because if we're getting Darren Collison from the last 2 years, massive upgrade right away. But he hasn't played basketball since last spring. I don't get the sense, like Andre Iguodala, that he was working out every day for coming back to play. So I saw him sitting next to Jeannie Buss last night. The eyeball test of the guy in the sweater. Look, he looks like he's in decent shape, but how long does it take Darren Collison to get into game shape? How effective can he be throughout the course of this season? I'm going to have to see that first before I believe he's a big upgrade over guys like Rondo and others.
Well, I think what you're looking for from Darren Collison is for him to be a factor in terms of being a ball handler, playmaker in the second half of the regular season. We know once we get to the postseason, that's going to be Bron. it's not going to be anybody else, but you got to get him there healthy. And right now, with the usage and only having Alex Caruso as somebody that you can rely to spell him with the ball handling, I think that's the biggest thing. So, Jenna, the point you bring up about LeBron and AD's health is absolutely right. They don't have a huge margin of error. Those two guys have to be great in order for the Lakers to compete for a title. So I'm looking at this from the standpoint that you do have to find a way to be able to get the ball out of LeBron's hands just so you can have him at his best when it matters the most. That's my biggest concern. Outside of that, I mean, would you like to have a little more perimeter shooting? Absolutely. You don't really have a lot of knockdown shooters on that roster, Danny Green, KCP, and you really don't have a lot of confidence in anybody else. But, I mean, I don't think that there was a deal to be made that you would feel comfortable with at the deadline, because I'm with you guys. I think the price of Kuzma and Danny Green would have been too much for Marcus Morris.
But Marcus Morris, while he doesn't give you rim protection for the Clippers, he gives you 3 guys that can guard LeBron James, which is really the conversation we're having now is the Clippers and the Lakers.
Well, listen, 100%, Jenna, and I thought the Lakers were going to get Andre Iguodala. They didn't get him. They were in on Marcus Morris. They didn't get him. And so I'm not going to sit here and act like the trade deadline went the way the Lakers would have hoped. But I thought they were going to get Andre Iguodala for nothing. I thought it was going to be buyout guy, and he ends up coming over. Instead, Memphis, to their credit, held on to him, and I like Justice Winslow. When he's healthy, he's a good player. So good for Memphis. It worked out for all parties involved. The asking price for Marcus Morris was too rich for my blood or the Lakers' blood. I wouldn't have traded Marcus Morris for Danny Green straight up. Even if he's a more effective regular season player, for what the Lakers need in the postseason, I trust Danny Green more. So obviously, Green and Kuzma for more is something I wouldn't do. If they don't add Collison, then I do think there is a level of concern only in this regard. You mentioned it's going to be Bron in the playoffs. Yeah, for 40 minutes, maybe 42 minutes. Those other 6 or 8 minutes can ruin a game if it's Rondo. And Rondo last night played 14 minutes. They were outscored by 14 points. He has been an anchor around this team's neck for 2 years. And for some reason, neither coach, whether it was Walton or Vogel, seemed to understand that, or maybe they just don't trust Caruso enough. I feel like you would trust Collison to take those minutes from him.
You trust Collison, and he addresses the perimeter shooting problems because at his best, he is a terrific spot-up shooter. So if you want to create the lanes for LeBron and AD to do that, you have it. I do think, if you're the Lakers, without the Collison signed right now, you're cringing a little bit because of Marcus Morris, because the Clippers effectively gave up nothing. Harkless wasn't doing anything for them. A first-round pick, who cares, at least when it comes to this year. They got themselves a guy that makes shots, who's battle-tested in the playoffs, and as you said, can defend LeBron James. It almost increases the urgency to get Darren Collison in a uniform and get him part of that mix.
Right. Well, real quick, do you have an apology, by the way?
For whom?
My guy, J.R. Smith. You were body shaming him yesterday?
I wasn't body shaming him. He was in an ice tub with Kevin Hart and said he's not game ready.
Yeah. Oh, not game ready. Did you see he was getting a tryout this week with the Lakers?
When he signs.
Okay, I'm just saying. JR, you know who always had your back. He's out here body shaming you. I'm saying he could be a key piece off the bench for the Lakers.
Kevin Durant,
we didn't talk enough about him.
We'll take a break. Coming up is Tom Brady's best bet at a 7th ring with a new team. We'll explain next on First.
JR, little scoring off the bench.